right, welcome back to another edition of the Southern Ontario Dirt Show podcast. My name is Jonathon Howe. That is the Beef, Corbey Daniels. We had a week off after a little double episode the week prior for live from Oshweken Speedway with the World of Outlaws. And Corbey, you were in Florida. I was back here. We did not miss a whole lot. Mother Nature did not cooperate in the slightest for us to have any kind of racing conversation. A little bit, I guess, we can talk about a little bit on the May 2-4, the doubleheader at Merrittville. We'll get into that. But first and foremost, how was vacation, buddy?
Vacation was awesome, nice and hot, over 33 degrees every day. Got on the golf course, got to the beach, got to the pool. It was really nice. It was just nice to be able to relax and do nothing for 10 days.
Yeah, absolutely. And 10 days off, much deserved, much earned. One of the things that we probably missed on, or that I know missed out because you took this vacation, was going to see the high limits at Ransomville, which I did kind of last minute. I bought my ticket probably at 4:30 on race day or something like that. I was 50-50, and then I had to work at the radio station, so I had to shoot across the border late. It was a whole thing, but I'm glad I made it over there. I think I got there basically just in time for main heat racing to start. It was great to see 3 nights of 410 sprint car racing in a row, different field. One thing that a lot of drivers mentioned at different points in the broadcast, if they had the opportunity to talk about it, is how excited they were to be back in Western New York. And, they acknowledged the Canadian fans in the audience. And more than a few guys, including I think it was Tyler Courtney, I heard right on the front stretch, said that they would like to see the high limits go to Oshweken Speedway for a show next year. Beef, how we feel about that?
We might get your wish of Outlaws in the spring and maybe High Limit in the fall. We'll see what happens. But that would be cool to see them guys come up across the border, have both national tours get to the track. And like you mentioned on the Oshweken episodes, what's stopping these super late model series from coming up here and running a show? I think it would be great to see them guys come up here too and get a little bit of a different action around here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. As far as the Ransomville show itself, it was busy. Maybe the busiest I've ever seen Ransomville in my time going over there. I'm sure there's definitely been other shows that have been crazier in the past, but in terms of the ones that I've been present for, they were parked all the way out on the road. Yeah. I had to squeeze between 2 cinder blocks close by to get a spot. I will say that it was more of a fan night for me than a journalist kind of media member night. I didn't get media credentials. I didn't get to the racetrack early. For whatever reason, the high limits, I think they were originally scheduled to go after the sportsmen that were racing there, or not the sportsmen, the street stocks that Ransomville had as part of the show. For whatever reason, they flip-flopped those, and the high limits went before the street stocks. Because of that, I wasn't able to get into the garage in time to really catch up with anybody too seriously. I did talk to our Dirt Beers guest on episode 20, Casey Kane, for a little bit, but he was mobbed with fans. I wasn't going to keep everybody waiting behind me, just be like, hey, remember us? Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Which he did remember me. And shout out to his partner, Amy, as well, who was working the merch trailer. And she was like, hey, Dirt Beers, recognized my shirt. And she's like, oh, he loved doing that podcast. You guys were awesome. And I was like, oh, so appreciate the praise from Casey and from Amy. And then I got to briefly exchange with Brad Sweet, who was kind of, packed up, ready to get out of there after signing some autographs. And I was like, hey, just wanted to shake your hand. Thanks for everything you're doing for sprint car racing. And I hope to have you on the show someday. So maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to track down Brad Sweet for the other show, Dirt Beers, down the road. But in terms of, the racing itself, I thought it was pretty decent. I don't know. I don't really always think of Ransomville as a sprint car track necessarily, but for a track that's not really a sprint car track, I thought they put on a pretty decent show. I think lap traffic definitely made it interesting and more exciting. So that was cool. All in all, got to give credit to High Limit. I think they run a really efficient show. I will say, though, if I had to compare, I did think the Oshweken shows were a little bit more entertaining, more smooth, and a little bit even faster paced than the High Limit racing stuff was. I thought all the walking the drivers up to the wheel to spin kind of, I think in person gave the show a little bit of a drag. I don't know. It might have just been the crowds and everybody getting up and get out of their seat and all that sort of stuff, trying to go to the bathroom, grab concession stuff. But
Yeah.
so my takeaways, if I was going to go to another high limit race anywhere across North America, would be I would say that's the series you want to show up early for. Try to get involved in all the driver pre-race activities, the trailer signings, all that sort of stuff. I got to give them kudos and credit. I think the merch designs were exceptional from all the drivers and teams that had their own merch trailers set up and everything with the high limits. I thought there was some really, really cool stuff that, man, I could have spent a lot of money there. So I dodged some of that. But so I'll say that those guys did really well. Obviously, they had the advantage of not having to, deal with tariff situations. So it was easier to just bring a merch trailer as opposed to having to get stuff printed in Canada, like I think a lot of the guys in Oshweken did.
Yeah.
So yeah, but all in all, it was a great event. I hope to see the high limits again. Hopefully across the border, that'd be really cool to see as well. If that's an option, if that's something down the line that happens, I'd absolutely love to see it.
Yep.
Beyond that, beef though, get there early, and that's the way to do the high limit show.
Sounds like it. I'm excited. Hopefully they do get over the border, and hopefully they come back New York way next season. I won't be going on vacation. Who knows? And be able to catch the show this time. But from what I saw online and the highlights and stuff I watched, it looked like a good race. Our guest actually on Dirt Beers this week is going to be who won the race at Ransomville, Justin Peck.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to talk to him about that and see what he thought of the place and what he thought about racing in upstate New York.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully you'll listen to this and maybe head over there and tune into the Dirt Beers podcast. I know they were all in the same feed for a little while now, but hey, we're trying to spread the love around. So if you subscribe to this show, make sure you go and follow Dirt Beers as well. And we do a lot of our World of Outlaws, national series stuff across the board for all different race cars over there. We've talked about Oshweken Speedway. They got rained out in terms of what was supposed to be their first night for 360 racing.
Yep.
So again, not a lot of racing action to talk about. But I do want to dive into Oshweken in terms of season preview. We saw a couple drivers who have 410s in terms of drivers who are going to be in the 360 realm.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling, Beef? What's your way too early season predictions here for the 360 class? I know you're involved in it too, so I'm putting you kind of in a bad spot here with the team, but trying to be as unbiased as I guess you can be.
Right. First, I just want to give a shout out to I saw online recently that Ricky, one of the track crew guys last weekend, actually just suffered a heart attack, and but he was recovering at home. So we're thinking about you, Ricky, and hopefully you get back to the track soon, and we see you out there. We're doing your magic to the surface. But as far as my way too early predictions for Oshweken Speedway, we saw a couple guys compete with the Outlaws, the Turner brothers, Dylan, DJ Christie, Nick Sheridan, bunch of other Glenn, Aaron Turkey, Ashton Van Every. What I liked, what I saw, obviously, you got Dylan and Corey making that pole dash and making the feature right out of their heats against the Outlaws, and they looked real quick. So I think you see the 47X and the 17 definitely have speed at the beginning of the season this year. Also, you can never count out Ryan Turner. I mean, Ryan is always fast. He's been in the car a bunch already this year. He's been down in the States racing. He raced the Outlaw race. So honestly, I think he's got the most upper hand on everybody as far as seat time right now. But yeah, I think you look out for Ryan. You look out for your normal guys that are up front. Dylan, obviously, I mean, I would love to see the 71 up front contending for wins and have speed, which hopefully we've figured it out and we can unload fast. But again, too, you got Nicky Sheridan. End of the season last year was on fire and was fast. This year he switches chassis. He's on a GSR chassis, GSR engine combo with Glenn now. Does that help him? It's hard to tell right now. I mean, the car was fast. He was running the same car he's going to be running the 360. He had his 410 in there, but car was fast with a 410. Put the 360 in, it's a whole different ball game. So we'll have to see how the 45 goes. But I mean, You want me to pick a champion? Is that?
I mean, I felt like I was thinking about it, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do season predictions for Oshweken because I feel like that's a little more. It's one thing at Merrittville where I'm the announcer and you're, a fan for the most part. I know Mike Bowen's been racing there more often, but you're not after a season long championship necessarily in the mods. So I don't want to put you on the spot like that. But I think you probably just hit on pretty much everybody who is a championship favorite. I mean, I was thoroughly impressed with Nick Sheridan, Ryan Turner coming off a Northern Sprint Car Nationals win last year as well. He ended the year strong. Does he pick it up where he left off? Also speaking of Ryan Turner, didn't touch on this. There were some Canadians who made the high limit trip, and Ryan Turner, got to give him like the hard luck award. I'm pretty sure. I didn't look at how it all exactly played out, but I don't think he ended up taking the checkered. I think he had a brake issue like right at the white flag or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think he did pull off before the checkered, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I didn't have my race pass in front of me, but I was so impressed the whole time he was holding off Brad Sweet.
Yeah.
Like, that was crazy. I was like, this is Ryan Turner holding off Brad Sweet. Like, that is the baddest man in a sprint car over the last however many years.
Yeah.
And Ryan Turner's just fully been able to roll with him and stay in front of him for most of that race until there was a mechanical issue at the end. So shout out Ryan Turner, shout out Jordan Poirier, shout out all the Canadians and everybody who made the trip out to be a part of that high limit show and represent really well for Southern Ontario and for Western New York. I don't know, man. I don't think if you made me pick a champion, it's hard to go against Westbrook right now. I just saw too much of that team and the way they were able to figure things out. And I don't see how, I think even if he's not winning all the races, what's he going to finish? Like podium every night, top 5 every night.
Yeah.
Like he's just going to top 5 the field to death unless that team runs into issues and he's got to miss a couple weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
So Westbrook is, I think, the probably way too obvious championship pick, but we've seen that he's gettable. You guys got him 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Mike Bowman got him, right? So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to pick against anybody else, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what the 360s offer us this year. I'll give you a prop bet. I think we did this for Merrittville. In the 360s, over under 6.5. That might be too. I'll go 5.5. Over under 5.5 feature winners this season at Oshweken.
Go under.
I knew 6.5 would be too high, but we just listed off probably 5-6 guys that can win a championship. So we figure they're probably going to get in victory lane at some point or another, right? So, I think that's. I think I'd take the over just for the fun of it, but because you got Ryan Turner, Corey Turner, Dylan Westbrook, Mike Bowman's going to probably win a race. You're probably going to see Nick Sheridan victory lane. I think, that's not factoring in any of the rest of the field who can, get some track position and just hold everybody off. Right? There's lots of talent throughout the 360 field, and there's definitely guys I'm not thinking of right now that could be there. Yeah. So. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. It's going to be good. This good stuff in the 360s. I'm looking forward to seeing who's a part of the full lineup of the crate sprints. Obviously, we saw Jacob Dykstra get the win in the first week there. I don't know if I've got a vibe on that series yet. I mean, Steve Murdoch looked really good last year. Jesse Costa is going to be fun to watch again. Brett Stratford there. Austin Rose. Like, there is some heavy hitters in the crates. Holly Porter's was racing in the crates the last few weeks or the couple weeks ago. So, I mean, do you have a vibe there? I mean, if Dykstra's going to win the whole or race the whole season, he might be the tough one to beat.
I'm just going to say his interview was childish the first night.
Did we expect anything less?
Don't like seeing any of that stuff, but I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, going off of what I saw last year, I mean, I think I like what I see out of Lance Erskine in the 88. I think he was rolling pretty good at the end of the season, and I think if he can carry that momentum and start off on a good foot, I'm not sure where he finished the first night, but if he
he did start, or he did end up finishing 13th, so not
Okay.
as impressive on paper. But then you look at the fact he started in 21st.
Yeah.
I mean,
So he passed some cars, but
yeah,
I liked what I saw of the 88 at the end of the season last year. So if I had to pick, I would say I'd like to see Lance at the top of the board this year.
yeah. I think Murdoch is going to be the one to watch for me. I mean, he goes 16th to 3rd a few weeks ago in that season opener. Um, I like Lance Erskine. I think that's a great pick as well. Uh, you know, Adrian Staley had a DNF that first week. He's probably going to be pretty good. Nico Hansen, what does he do now that he's moved into the crate cars? Right, he'll be
Yeah.
an interesting one to watch. There's some young talent. There's some names we've seen in other divisions, like a guy like Jeremy May or a Logan Schwedick who are in the crate car now. It's very interesting, man. I think the crate class is very interesting and hopefully going to be very entertaining for Oshweken this year.
Yeah.
That opening week also had the sportsman modifieds there. We don't need to
Yeah.
talk too much about that, but Dave Bailey, Ryan Beagle, Trevor DeBoer, Zach Bleach, Robert Hoskins, like all the typical bangers at the front of the field in the
Yeah.
Thunderstocks. Probably going to be the Beagle and Bailey show, but don't count out DeBoer, man.
No, I wouldn't count him out, but I'm like always. I'm pulling for Ryan Beagle to win the championship. Ryan's a great guy. Nothing against Dave Bailey, he's a great guy too. But I love seeing that '84 car up front.
Yeah, absolutely. The big dog, he knows how to get it done, especially at Oshweken. And then Jillian Hills starts the mini stocks off with a win, which is a big
Mm-hmm.
shot across the bow. As I believe it was Jillian that won the championship last
It
year, if I'm
was.
not mistaken, right?
Yep.
So Alex Riley, who was right up in that fight as well, finished fourth. Probably
Mm-hmm.
going to come down to those two. But hey, I mean, just looking through here, we got Tim DeBoer, Jeff Elsliger had great runs. Mason Anderson, if he's going to run the full year there, he's proven to be fast already over at
Yeah.
Merrittville Speedway. Again, kind of wide open. DNF for Kenny Hare in that first week, so that probably is going to hurt him in terms of trying to chase the points. But hey,
Yeah.
not impossible for him to go and get something done. Jeremy Cooper up 18 spots was the hard charger in week one.
Yep.
I think that series is too close to call. I don't have a vibe one way or the other. I think we know
Yeah.
who's going to be at the top of it, but it could be any 7 or 8 drivers winning any given week.
Yeah, that class is always changing, and there's always fast guys that fall off, and then all of a sudden there's somebody else up front that you never even would have thought of. So hard to say on a mini stock who I think is going to be a champion.
Yeah. So, one more little bit of stuff here before we kind of get out of here. Now, we got to race off because we got to interview Justin Peck over on the Dirt Beers show. So, we didn't have a ton to talk about because rainouts all weekend last weekend, Ransomville, Oshweken, Merrittville, nothing to talk about. But let's go back to a couple races we haven't talked about. Let's talk about the long weekend at Merrittville Speedway. James Friesen breaks through on the Saturday night ahead of Pete Bignell and your boy Mike Bowman with a podium run in the 358 modifieds. Over on the sportsman side, Cody McPherson, he's inevitable. Gets the win ahead of Nigel Pentecoski, Billy Bleach Jr., Taylor Vanderzan, and Noah Mamo. All those drivers having great runs. Everybody in that top 5 going forward in the top 5, except for Billy Bleach Jr., who started third and held on to that track position to finish third. So, pretty standard stuff with the sportsmen. Hoosier Stocks, Dave Bailey, Mark Fawcett, Kyle Pellrine, Rob Murray, Jason Fontaine. That's what you expect to see.
Yeah.
Bailey, all of a sudden, after that mechanical issue to start the year, really starting to put that stranglehold on that championship. Joe Isabel comes up and races in the Mod Lights. The Brewerton area driver comes up and kind of, I don't want to say puts a hurt on him because Josh Leiter was there in the end and maybe could have got him, but Joe looked bad fast in that 6J, beating Slater, Winger, Meisner. Evan Leonard with a solid top 5 run. Shout out to Evan Leonard, the Stony Creek driver, on the Saturday night, getting some stuff done. And one more here. It was Mason Anderson winning the Saturday night after starting 10th ahead of Hannah Rothwell. Alex Riley went 15th to 3rd. Kenny Hare 14th to 4th. Josh Dimitro rounds out your top 5 from the Saturday night. It's been a few weeks, so I'm trying to remember if there was any drama or anything that we need to dive into. I think most of it was mainly on the Monday, to be honest. But it It's been messy as of late at Merrittville the last couple weeks because the Sportsman feature Saturday night was the messy one.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was I don't even remember how many cautions, but it took us almost 40 minutes to run 25 laps. It was tough. Now I think there was an extended yellow there where there's some cars tangled together. Like it is what it is. But I mean, they were wrecking coming to green. They were wrecking going into corner one after taking the green. It was a tough look. Look. But Monday it was the modifieds with a little extended time, 40 laps. Gary Lindbergh gets the win ahead of Mike Bowman, Shane Pierce, Brad Rouse, Nelson Mason. I have to check. I think that was the one that Daryl Fairway was leading, blew an engine, and just a tough break. Yeah, Daryl had a really good run going. I want to say it was the Monday. I could be mixing that up with Saturday, but I want to say it was on Monday. And he blew up leading the race, and it was such a tough break. And a real bummer for a guy who, was capitalizing on the fact that he was starting up towards the front of the field. That's what you got to do, especially over a 40-lap run. And with clean racetrack, he really seemed pretty in control of that one. I know Nelson Mason put a bunch of pressure on himself to go and get a win on sponsor night, Audi night on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
He had 2 solid top 5 runs. I don't think he's got anything to complain about over the weekend in front of the sponsors. So shout out to him and Gary Lindbergh. Random stat that I think it was Stephen Petty that mentioned it because he was co-announcing with me that night. 5 out of the last 6 Holiday Monday races have gone to Gary Lindbergh. Guy loves to win on a holiday Monday.
That's his night, apparently.
Yeah. Even Gary wasn't aware of that stat, actually. I told him I hit him Victory Lane, and he's like, what? Really? I was like, yeah, man.
That's funny. Yeah. That's cool.
Dave Bailey gets the big money. I think it was $1,740 to win in the Hoosier Stocks on the holiday Monday. Bailey gets the big check ahead of Fawcett. The big dog, Ryan Beagle, came sniffing for the money, but finishes 3rd. Rob Murray, 4th. Kyle Pelrine rounds out your top 5 in the Hoosier Stock field. I should mention that Hoosier Stocks and Mini Stocks were both dual on the dirt races on the Saturday night. Monday, though, just racing for a little extra cash. Alex Riley takes the win in the Mini Stock feature there after going starting 15th. Goes 15th to 1st, beating Mason Anderson barely at the line. I think that was a 1,000th of a second separating those two at the line.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was one they had to measure out, but it all worked out for Alex Riley in the end ahead of Mason Anderson. Kenny Hare, 3rd. Hannah Rothwell, 4th. That 4-pack right there, Riley, Anderson, Hare, Rothwell, I think that is where your champion is coming from after enough racing at this point. I can call that's probably where the race is going to be. And then the dirt dirt late models, dirt crate late models. Brian McDonald gets the win over Brady Wonderling, Charlie Sandercock, Brandon Mowat, Jonah Mutton on the holiday Monday. Even they had their own issues. I gotta say, I know Brady Wonderling was not happy with how things ultimately went, but I gotta say, Brady, I have never seen a driver get 7 warnings for restart violations. Eventually, you were gonna get called, brother. I'm sorry to say, Brett, I don't. I would have moved you back probably like the second time at least. But you kept getting hey, we're in the tower. We'll see what you're doing. You're jumping a little early. You're trying to go at the line. So anyways, at the end of the day, Brian McDonald probably earned that race and deserved to win that race. And that's your kind of recap. And with all that, we are caught up on what's been happening in the Southern Ontario dirt world. Beef, one more time. What do we got coming up on Dirt Beers for people to listen to this Friday?
Dirt Beers this Friday. Driver the number 26 Redine racing car, Justin Peck. We're going to talk to him about running high limit, his win at Ransomville recently, and just the success that he's had so far starting out the year with Redine Racing. So should be interesting to see, and can't wait to talk to him.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I'll be back at Merrittville Speedway, hopefully with sunny skies this Saturday. It all kind of worked out for me. I had a wedding. I was going to miss the race on Saturday night anyways, and then it got rained out, so no, everybody kind of missed out.
Perfect.
Sorry to say. But looking forward to being back at the track this Saturday. If you want to catch up with anything personal, at Jonathon on air, that's where you're going to find me. Make sure you follow Dirt Beers. Make sure you keep following the Southern Ontario Dirt Show. We're up on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, Apple. subscribe, comment, engage with the show in whatever way. Even if you want to just tell us we're idiots, that all ends up making us a little more popular than if you don't say anything at all. So
exactly.
please,
you don't agree with something we talked about and you want to talk about it? No problem.
Yeah, you want a more in-depth thing? You want more prop bets? You want more gambling? You want me to be the book a bit more with beef here? I can
Let us
do
know.
that.
We can start a sports book.
I know, right? All racing sportsbook would do great. I'm just saying. All right, let's wrap it up there. Thanks everybody for tuning in to the Southern Ontario Dirt Show podcast.